Hello, hello, and welcome. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining me here today. Today, we're talking about life is a spiritual journey. Life is a spiritual journey. This is an idea that hit me a few weeks ago and it just kind of stuck with me, turned it into a quote. It was in this week's newsletter. And so I've just been playing with it. We're just going to talk about it a little bit, do some tapping, and then send some love out into the world. So we're going to start with our short little meditation, Elevate. So I want to invite you to put your hands over your heart. Take a deep, nourishing breath with me. Maybe another deep breath. Putting your feet flat on the floor if you're in a position that makes sense for you. And just imagine or just start moving your feet one then the other up and down, really allowing yourself to connect with Mother Earth. Sorry, I muted myself because I sneezed. And then bring your attention to your heart and really notice that you're slowing your breathing. And put a smile on your face. This is a little grounding technique that my friend Deanna Lyons taught me called Low, Slow, and Smile. And with the smile on our face, maybe you can stop moving your feet now. Keep your hands over your heart. Tune in to someone you really, really love, human or animal, currently on the planet or not. Someone special that when you think about them, you can start feeling the love and really allow yourself to feel that love, to feel the joy, feel the excitement, feel the preciousness of this special someone in your life, currently or from the past. And as you're allowing yourself to feel it, really anchor this feeling into your heart, elevating your vibration, your emotions. And if this high vibration feeling has a color to you, tune into that color. And allow that color to start at your heart and then spread all throughout your body, allowing yourself to feel more higher vibration energy all throughout your body, every single cell of your body. And let's anchor that in. Keeping that smile on your face, maybe opening your eyes, coming back to here and now. I'm going to grab a sip of water. Life is a spiritual journey. What does that mean to you? I'm going to ask you to think about that a little bit. If you're watching the replay instead of live, maybe even pause and think about what does life as a spiritual journey mean to me? Well, so here's some thoughts. I think there's two parts of us. Probably there's a lot more parts to us, but we're going to look at this from two parts right now. There's what I call the treetop view, the higher self, the higher, wiser, braver soul part, spiritual part, divine part of you. And then there's the human part. The human part is the part that is running the show the majority of the time, that's making sure you pay your bills and go to work and eat and drink and all the things you need to do from a human level. Okay. That's an important thing, right? We need to function in the world at this human level. And yet, the reality is we are all divine beings having a human experience. We are all this higher level part too. And so when you tune into life from the higher place, from this soul space, from this treetop view, you can see that everything is actually happening for you, not to you. We're going to get more into that next week when we get into the 4 stages of spiritual growth. But for right now, I want you to focus on the idea that everything that is happening, the good, the bad, the horrific, the fabulous, all of that is happening for your spiritual growth. It is all a spiritual journey. And if you're able to step back, if you're able to get in that treetop, if you're able to view your life from that space, especially during the hard times, which is when it's the hardest, right? I mean, when you're going through something really hard in your life, it's real hard to not feel like a victim. And there's no judgment in that. There's no judgment at all. Because the reality is, the saying hindsight is 2020. When you're in the middle of it, it is very hard to be able to look at, oh, this is happening for a reason. This is for me. Yeah, of course, you're not going to be in that place when something horrific is going on. That totally makes sense. So, after something's bad is when you can look back and go, okay, how did this serve me? Where was the good in this? So I'm going to use 9/11 as an example. I'm in the United States, in North Carolina. So, of course, I look at 9/11 as something horrific that happened in our world. And, I have like I said, a United States centric view. Um, but for those of you in different parts of the world, you were probably also affected by 9/11 if you were in any part of the Western part of the world. So 9/11 was a collective tragedy. We were all affected by it in some way, shape, or another. And those who were affected most intimately, this is still a very painful time of year for them as we're coming up on the 11th again. So knowing that, yes, this was a horrific thing, then I want to ask you to think about the good things that came out of it. The stories you've heard or read or maybe been a part of where people came together, where people supported each other, where people got to see that humanity is really much more than just division between Republican and Democrats, right? That there is much more to life that was brought to our attention by 9/11. 9/11 sucked. There's no changing that. But what came after it, the growth, the learning, and even in the pain. So, this is one of the crazy things about life on this planet. Even the hard parts, even the painful parts, there's beauty in. And that's a really hard thing to grasp when you're in it and as when you're on the lower levels of spiritual growth. Again, we're going to get more into that next week. But when you get stuck in that victimy place, it's hard to realize that there's good that comes out of the bad. So I'll give you a personal example. When my dad died from cancer in 1990 at the age of 57, I was 27 and I was blown away. This was my first major loss in my life and I was just it was really hard for several years afterwards. Some things came out of that though. I actually ended up in a treatment center for compulsive overeating and depression a year later. And even though I was in a really bad place when I showed up and it was hard, and, when I think about it, the more day-to-day things, how hard it was at times, it still can be hard, but when I look at it from the bigger picture, I'm like, "Oh, what a gift." It led to me becoming who I am today, working with women that deal with emotional eating, that turn to food to deal with life's ups and downs, and mainly the downs. That there was a lot of growth that came from that. Even though at the time, I sure wouldn't have told you there was anything good about it. And sadly to say, as I watch my friends that still have their parents deal with so many of the hard things that you have to deal with when your parents are in their 80s and 90s, I I don't wanna say I'm glad, but my mom also died at 57. Weird fact that my mom, dad, and older sister all died at 57 years old, and I'm in my 60s now, so I was the first one to break that crazy pattern in my family. Anyway, not going too deep into that, but the point being, that even though I lost my parents early and it was very painful for a long time, now I can be a support to my friends who are dealing with assisted living or nursing homes or memory care or the things they're dealing with their parents. So, just an example of going through something really hard and how there's a positive in it in the long run. So, we're going to do some tapping now on accepting the hard things and how there really is a gift in it. So, I'm going to give you my very quick intro to EFT, emotional freedom techniques, or tapping. And by the way, if you choose to tap with me, you're agreeing to take full responsibility for your emotional health. Okay. So this is not really EFT. I just want to be clear about that. Emotional freedom techniques, there's much more to it than just what I call demo level tapping. You will definitely get something out of demo level tapping. I believe in it. It's a great thing, but it's not the real in-depth work that EFT is. Okay. So we're going to start by tapping on the side of the hand, and as you can see, that's under the pinky finger. And we are going to do what's called a setup phrase or balancing statement when we're here. And it'll be something along the line of, even though life is really hard sometimes, and it's hard for me to see the positives, I'm open to the idea that something good will come out of it. Okay, you'll be repeating after me. We'll be doing setup phrases, maybe one, maybe three. We'll see. And then we do what's called a round. We're going to go around the points on the face and the body. The next point I go to is the eyebrow point, just gently tapping on the eyebrow. And we'll do what's called a reminder phrase. Our next point will be the side of the eye, under the eye, under the nose. The chin is the indentation between the lip and the chin. Collarbone is you find your collarbones, go down a little bit and out a little bit. So you're not tapping up here, you're tapping over here. Our next point is called the underarm point, and for the ladies, that's down at the bottom of the bra line or where you would wear a heart monitor. I'm doing the same side of the body, but you can also do crossbody if that's more comfortable for you. By the way, one hand or two, it doesn't matter. And the last point we're using today is the top of the head. Okay. So I'm going to ask you to take a deep breath. I'm going to grab one more sip of water. If you have something to drink, grab it too. Okay. Going to the side of the hand, taking a breath, conscious breath, getting aware, mindful, repeating after me, even though sometimes life is really hard. And I've had some really rough things happen in my life. I've had major losses and hurts and things I wish had never happened. And I've done things that I regret, said things I wish I could take back. And yet I'm choosing to relax, and I'm open to new possibilities. So even though sometimes life is really hard, and sometimes I don't even know how I can get through it, I'm choosing to relax, and I'm accepting how I feel. So even though sometimes life is really hard, I'm open to the possibility that I can love and accept myself and how I feel. All right, let's go around the points, going to the eyebrows. Sometimes life sucks. Side of the eye. Sometimes things happen that make no sense to me. Under the eye. Why do horrible things happen in this world? under the nose. So many painful things. So many awful things going on around the world right now. Collarbone. And it's hard for me to accept that this is happening for us. Under the arm. From a human level, this makes no sense. Top of the head. Why is there so much suffering on this planet? Back to the eyebrow. And yet, when I'm able to step back and I'm able to look at this from a higher perspective, I can see that things really do happen for us. I can see that there's spiritual growth in all the hard things. And there's spiritual growth in the beautiful, fun, joyful things. I can stay focused on the hard or bad things, or I can do my part to alleviate suffering on this planet and focus on the joy and the humanity that can come from all things. I can choose to be grateful for my journey. I can be grateful that I get to be a part of lifting the vibration of this planet. I'm grateful for what I can do to make a difference in the world. And it starts with being kind and curious with myself. So as I learn to treat myself with more love and respect and tenderness, the more I'm able to treat others with love, respect, and tenderness. Everyone makes mistakes. It's part of learning. And I'm grateful that I'm learning and growing. I'm grateful that I'm seeing life as a spiritual journey. So I'm going to ask you to stop tapping, put your hands back over your heart, and let's take a deep, nourishing breath together. And I want to invite you to tune into that higher, wiser, braver part of yourself, allowing yourself to feel that love, that joy, that hope that lives within you. And from this place, as much as you're able, tuning into the joy of life, the gratitude of life, the hope, the love, the connection, the community, all the good things in life, tuning into those things right now. Let that fill your heart up. Let that fill your cup. You fill your well, whatever you want to call it. Allowing yourself to feel refreshed and renewed, revitalized, having hope, having faith, having trust. And as you anchor these feelings into your body, maybe these feelings have a color to you. What is the feeling of color? The color of the feelings of love and hope and faith and trust. And as you tune into that color, allowing yourself to feel that color in your heart, that energy in your heart of higher vibration emotions, love, joy, hope, trust, and faith. Allow it to spread from your heart all throughout your body, filling every single cell of your body with this joyful, healing energy. And then spreading that out from you, radiating out from your heart, 360 degrees all around you, letting yourself be a source of hope and joy and gratitude and trust and faith and possibilities in this world. And as you radiate this out from your heart, it comes back to you magnified, multiplied, and you get to send it back out again. It's an infinity loop. The more you send out high vibration, radiant energy, the more it comes back to you. The more you send it out, the more it comes back. You receive what you are. You share what you are. You shine from that place of love and joy and hope and possibilities. And that, my dear ones, is why life is a spiritual journey. We get to come back to this place. We can let go of the stuckness, the hurt, the pain. It will happen again, and we get to work through it again, and we get to come back to this place of resilience and hope and happiness and joy and making a difference in the world. So anchor that in, dear ones. Letting yourself feel renewed, refreshed, revitalized, and ready to go back out into your day from a happier, more joyful, loving place. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a fabulous week. Blessings to you all. I hope you'll join me next week for the 4 stages of spiritual growth. Have a great day. Namaste, y'all.